What's up, everybody? You know what day it is. It's time for your next dose of Warrior Wednesday with your host, that Wounded Warrior guy. That's me. And today's video is going to be targeting not only veterans or individuals getting ready to go through the medical evaluation board, getting ready for that process and transition back into the civilian sector, but also friends, family, and loved ones for those veterans, of those veterans, people who can lean in and give a kind ear and a kind voice to those individuals who are going to be going through a very difficult and taxing process. And in that process, from personal experience and people that I know, people make bad decisions. So that's what today's video is about. But before we get into that video, just want to remind you guys, if you wouldn't mind throwing me a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so, and sharing this video so we can continue to grow the channel. Do one of those things for me, I would really appreciate it. But without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So you guys already know that I was in the military, in the army, deployed to Afghanistan, got injured, got hurt, came back from overseas, went to Germany, to DC, to Virginia, back to DC. A lot of things happened in a short period of time, or a relatively short period of time. It was about 2 years. But in those 2 years, a lot of things happened. A lot of choices had to be made. A lot of decisions had to be made. And it can be taxing on the mind of an individual who is recovering from a traumatic event. And during those taxing times, it is easy and not uncommon for individuals in those circumstances to make the wrong choices or not make the choice that is the most beneficial for that individual in the long term. And what do I mean by that? Well, during a process like that, from personal experience, a lot of individuals want the process to be over as quick as possible, making that process as short as possible. And in doing so, um, they could be making choices which shut doors as opposed to opening them for long-term success. And during my time at DC, I saw a lot of soldiers who were not too concerned with the long-term process, not too concerned with the resources that were going to be available to them, nor putting a lot of effort into seeking out the proper guidance to make sure that no stone was left unturned and that they understood everything that they were entitled to and that they sought and went after everything that could potentially be beneficial to them at some point in their upcoming future. And the I'm probably going to do a few videos on this, but today our focal point is going to be on education. Education, why it's important, why we need to consider it, especially while we're going through the medical evaluation board, and why that time can be best spent focusing on education as opposed to just wanting the process to be over. I'm probably going to do a video on education and schooling, a video on finances, and then finally we will probably do a video on either living conditions or maybe, I don't know. I'll think of another topic for that third part, but I am going to try to make this into a three-piece segment, all revolving around choices that you can make to help benefit you once you complete the medical evaluation board and increase your ability to be successful during that process. So that's what this segment is going to be. That's what you can look forward to over the next few Wednesdays. And yeah, man, this is exciting. And like I said, this is definitely targeted towards not just the veterans, but the loved ones of those individuals. If you see this, and if you know that somebody who you care about is going through that process, make sure to help them as much as you can through that transitional period and make sure that those individuals are at least aware of their choices and are putting enough thought into it that the choices that they make are educated and not done in a rash manner. But yeah, guys, so just to get right into it, and I touched on this a little bit in my prior video, the 3 tips to help guide you through the medical evaluation board and to help you do it in a successful way. Check out that video if you haven't already done so. There's a lot of good information there. But coming back to school, why it's important. Well, number one, especially from my point of view, my experiences, I was trained to be a mechanic in the military, and 2 reasons why that would have not been the best route for me to go after my injury. Number one, I hurt my hand to the point to where doing physical styles of work, outdoor physical labor, or working at a mechanic shop, lifting heavy objects, doing a lot of things that's going to aggravate the arthritis in my hand was just not realistic and not something that I could maintain over a long period of time. Number two is maintenance work in the military is very different from maintenance work in the civilian sector, so schooling would have still been required. You're not going to, I could not have just transitioned straight from the military to a legitimate dealership or maintenance shop or whatever and worked on vehicles and equipment and had my training would not have been recognized by any legitimate organization that would have potentially been looking to hire me without having went and at least getting different certificates or stuff through some type of training program. So it would have been required either way. That is why I came to terms with it, chose a major, and just dove straight into schooling. I found something that I was passionate about, something that I was interested in, and just went from there. I knew that maintenance was not going to be in the future, so I made changes, made a decision, went from there. And that's not for everybody. Like a lot of people who are coming out of the military, they might still be able to use that hands-on experience to do that type of labor or that type of job. And all they might need to do is go and get a legitimate certification in the civilian sector, which is really easy, doesn't take too long, probably takes a couple of months. Get that done, come out, go straight into the job, and continue doing the things that they enjoy doing if they enjoyed doing it while they were in the military. No reason to no reason to fix it if it ain't broke. All right, so that's one of the reasons why it wasn't a realistic option on the table for me. And that's also one of the reasons why it's not a realistic option on the table for a lot of individuals going through the medical evaluation board. Either it's not going to be recognized in the civilian world, or your disabilities and limitations might prevent you from being able to maintain that long term. So just keep that in mind. Additionally, something to note is that while you're going through the medical evaluation board, if you are taking your time through the process to make sure that you are applying for everything that you deserve and that you are entitled to, it's going to be a lengthy process. Like I said, mine was close to 2 years. Now, I did have a pretty intensive recovery in the beginning, so that probably stacked on about 3-4 months maybe, but you're still going to be looking at about that 15 to 18 month mark going through the medical evaluation board, depending on how severe your injuries are and just depending on how many soldiers you're going through there at the time, what their turnaround time is, that kind of thing. So it is a lengthy process. Do not be one of those individuals who go through that process and drown your sorrows in a bottle and socialize to the point to where you're not being productive, and do not be one of those individuals who are socializing around the wrong crowd. You go to the Wounded Warrior barracks like anywhere else, you're gonna run into those individuals who have nothing but negativity on their minds, and you can use this information to try to lift those individuals up, try to push them in the right direction, but just be cognizant of the fact that there are those groups who are trending in the wrong direction. And outside of trying to motivate them to make better choices, trying to motivate them to go and apply for things, trying to motivate them to go to school or at least get some type of certification so that they can work after the process. Outside of doing that, do not be drawn into those groups and make bad choices, because you're still in the military. You're still expected to be in uniform. You're still expected to represent yourself to the best of your ability. And you're still expected to pass drug screenings. You're still expected to participate in PT according to whatever profile you're on. You're still expected to meet the weight and tape standards. All of these things are expected from you, and all of these things you will be held to the standard of the military branch in which you are a part of. So, with that in mind, do not fall into a trend, do not spiral out of control, and do something or make a wrong choice that is going to threaten your ability to receive whatever benefits are waiting for you at the end of that process. Because I can't tell you how many individuals, how many good people I knew at the Wounded Warrior Barracks in DC that failed drug screenings, got, you know, separated from the military. Their separation was changed from like honorable to other than honorable or dishonorable because of something that they did while they were there. You can still be separated from the military with a dishonorable discharge during that process due to bad choices. And at that point, your schooling, your benefits, all of that stuff is threatened. All of that stuff can go away. Nothing is guaranteed until the process is over. So just keep your head up, keep looking forward, and go through the process, deal with the process, get the most out of the process, and do it. Look at it in an optimistic way. Make sure that everything that you do is purposeful and that it's all going towards the same goal. The goal of the medical evaluation board is to determine what your disability rating is and to get to receive the most appropriate benefit, financial benefit, and medical care due to your disability rating so that you can be taken care of after the process is over and once you're out on your own, so that you can have a quality of living that is, a good quality of living. And by not focusing on that goal, not focusing on that endpoint, making bad choices and bad decisions, you could be threatening the purpose of the process, and that can significantly lower the expected quality of living that you're going to be able to enjoy once you leave the military officially. So just keep that in mind. So do not get involved in the crowds or the groups who always have the negative outlook, who are trending in the wrong direction, who are making bad choices, who are constantly like going out, drinking and partying. Like, there are those groups. You can be there for them to lean on. You can be there to answer questions, and you can be there to motivate. Outside of that, that's it. Keep that goal in mind, because the rest of your life is after the medical evaluation board, and the only person in control of what that's going to look like is you. Okay? Um, and so, like I said, make the best of that time. Go to school during that time, because as long as you're going through the medical evaluation board, you can go to school on the military's dime without tapping into your GI Bill, which means that your GI Bill is going to be able to produce more education from you on the back end once you officially separate than it would had you not have utilized that tuition assistance while you're going through the medical evaluation board. You can get a couple semesters worth of tuition assistance while you're going through the medical evaluation board, which means you can get a couple semesters additional out of your GI Bill. So now, instead of, oh, I can only get a bachelor's degree because that's all that the military is going to cover with my GI Bill, now I can get a bachelor's degree and some more and potentially get close to a master's degree. I knew a guy who got his bachelor's degree done while he was going through the medical evaluation board. Now, he had injuries that was very severe. He went through some pretty intensive physical therapy, so he was there for a long time. There are people who spend 3 years going through the medical evaluation board, 3 years in the Wounded Warrior Barracks. He was one of those individuals. He was there for a long time. He completed his bachelor degree. Now, granted, I think he had completed 2 full semesters while he was, active duty. So, but still, it just goes to show you how much you can accomplish while you're there if you keep that goal in sight and if you keep your head down and if you're constantly moving in that positive, progressive direction. So just keep that in mind, guys. Make the best of your time while you're there. Get educated. The last thing I want to talk about is don't be one of those individuals who, you know that you're going to be disabled, you know that you're not going to be able to stay in the military, and just don't be one of those individuals that's content with receiving your disability every month and living on that and not, doing anything else, right? There's a reason why we get our GI Bill. It's a massive benefit. It's something that a lot of people in the world would, you know, give a lot to get something like that, to get that type of opportunity. There's a lot of people that go their entire lives without getting an opportunity to go to school, especially to go to school for free. So just keep that in mind. Do not be one of those individuals that is content, like I said, with, hey, I'm going to get this $3,000 a month for the rest of my life, and that's what I'm going to live off of. Number one, I'm sorry, but $36,000 a year, that's not a living wage. You can't have a family, buy a vehicle, live well, go out, purchase a house, and provide for that family and have upkeep on that home with $36,000 a year. It's not possible. You're not going to get it done, And yeah, I know people who are like, yeah, well, I get Social Security and I get disability and I get CRSC and I get all these other things. Okay, yeah, great. I get those things too. But me and my wife live here in this apartment, and like financially, we're okay. But at the same time, like, she works, and she has a great job. She gets paid good money. If it was just me, if we were just, uh, if I was the one providing, we wouldn't make it. Not with what I get from the military, what I get from the VA. We just wouldn't make it. And also, last thing I want to say is that money is never guaranteed. That money can always change. It can always be reduced. It can always be taken away. So it's good to have a backup plan. Just keep that in mind. So don't be content with it. Get yourself educated. Have a backup plan. Have a goal in mind. Find something that you really, really enjoy doing, or something you believe you would enjoy doing, and go after it. So guys, that's the video today. Those are the things I would just want to put out there. If you do know somebody who's going through the medical evaluation board, give them that information, help them through that process, give them those tips to succeed, because education is super important. It's, like I said, there's a lot of people out there who would kill for that opportunity, and the fact that we get to do it, and we get to do it for free, and actually we get paid to go do it. It's not something that I believe. I don't think it's smart to just disregard that benefit and to completely overlook it and to not utilize it to the max. That's my opinion. If my opinion differs from you guys, then hey, everybody's got a plan. Everybody's different. Everybody's entitled to making their own choices. You can always make your own choices. I'm just giving you the information to a pathway that I believe is it's built to send people into a successful and enjoyable life. That's my opinion. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Before I get off here, like always, even if you don't realize it, even if you don't believe it, there's a warrior in every single one of you. I see it. Take care.